Welcome to the first ever Simon and Cole talk show. I'm Cole.
I'm Simon.
Oh shit.
This is our first installment, and we just want to start up by explaining what Simon and Cole is, and maybe trying to make people understand why we're so weird. So anyways, we started this because
We started last year.
Yeah, it was about a year ago.
And I was living in New York.
And I was living in Eastern Europe, and we were both really far away from home and far from our friends, and having a good time, but also just complaining about everything, about how we were single, and everything was a pain in the ass because girls were just messing with us.
Mostly complaining about girls.
Mostly complaining about girls.
Right.
So we started writing email chains back and forth, and it was non-stop, and we just had this absolutely huge archive of emails between each other, and most of it was about girls. It was supposed to be about our lives in general, but almost all of it was about girls. And so it just made perfect sense to do something with it. And this guy's a writer, and he convinced me that I could be a writer also.
Right, so our first idea was we wanted to compile all of our emails into a book called The Women We Think About Every Day in Order, right?
Yes.
Because somehow these emails just took this structure by accident where I was on like one girl, not literally, metaphorically, and Simon was on another girl, maybe
in the same room, and we were looking. It was
it was awkward. So we needed to sort this out. So we realized that we could never do that. Because if we did that, our friends would kill us.
Throw people under the bus, and it would...
Right, so it would just get really awkward.
Yeah.
So instead, actually, this is perfect. We'll get right to the origins of this. Okay, so I had this experience. I was going back to New York on a plane, and I met this girl named Karina. And Karina and I had a nice little talk and whatever, but she was wearing, one of those fur hoods, so you can't really see the face because the fur hood extends.
It's like wearing the big sunglasses with the stuff.
Right,
hiding them.
So I thought she was hot. So I struck up a conversation, we exchanged phone numbers, everything's going really well, everyone's happy, whatever. Anyway, I call her up to come hang out with my friends, and she shows up and she's just not really hot. Like, her nose is enormous. I don't know if she had, like, a Jewish thing. I mean, I'm Jewish.
He's Jewish, so that's okay.
But
always have to say that, right? I don't really know why.
Okay, so, like, she had a huge nose. I mean, she was pretty. It just wasn't like, I'm gonna date this girl.
And also, you didn't really know her at all.
Right, I didn't know.
Kind of like, you thought she was hot and you thought something was gonna happen with it because that's the way you were thinking.
Right, so, of course, I just think, whatever, let's just see how this goes. Maybe things will go well, I don't know. So we go to this place in New York called Chinese Laundry. No. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's something like Chinese Laundry, yeah. And it's like this really boring bar.
Happy ending, bro.
That people Happy Endings is what it's called, right.
Thank you.
So it's this really boring bar, and there's just a stairwell that leads down to a basement and a bar and a DJ, and it's like, makes no sense this is popular, but it is. So we get a few drinks, we're dancing, having a good time, and eventually I'm like, do you want to go back to my apartment? So we go outside, and we hail a cab, and as we're hailing a cab, she goes, by the way, I'm not going to sleep with you tonight. Which I just find incredibly annoying, because why
are you going home? What's the point of going home?
Well, not only that, but like, what makes you think that I just want to bone you the first night? I know, maybe we're just gonna take it, how it goes. Just kind of play it by ear. Like, I didn't have the plan of boning.
Just play it by wing,
Right, well, I mean, obviously, I'm not opposed to it.
Right.
But, it's not like, yeah, exactly. So anyway, we go back, we start making out, and things start getting hot and heavy. There's an OTP-HJ situation, an OTJ-CR situation. There's pants coming off, underwear flying everywhere, legs behind heads, all sorts of shit. And so she just, she really goes for it and goes down and starts giving me the worst blowjob of my life.
And it hurts, and it hurt.
It was toothy. There was a lot of lip.
Absolute worst.
A lot of lip and no tongue. It was like just perimeter blowjob. And not like, blowjob I've experienced from like girls that I've really liked in the past. And it's just toothy, there's a lot of lip, all sorts of bad shit's going on. So she's like sucking my dick for like, I estimate 25 seconds when when she looks up at me with these like really sad puppy dog eyes, like, and I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, oh no, she told me something was wrong. Something's wrong. Like, you know, like explaining to me whether I knew it or not, something was wrong. So I'm like, you know, really concerned, like, what's going on? And she goes, you haven't come yet. And I'm like, you know, all the shit's racing through my head. I'm like, how the fuck should a 28-year-old girl not know that it's supposed to be more than 25 seconds to make someone come? But of course, like, I feel bad, so I'm like, I'm sorry, I take a long time. She's like, oh, okay. So she goes back to giving me
You just completely lied.
Right. No.
Can you imagine the next person she hooked up with? What happened there?
No. What about the people before?
No, I know. I'm just saying. What happened the next time?
She had given, like, I mean, I assume she's hooked up with at least a couple guys before. She said she had boyfriends.
What if she did?
She just lied?
Yeah.
That would make sense. I've never thought about that.
Anyways, alright, that's what the
I mean, the first, I got a blowjob from this girl once who, it was the first blowjob she had ever given, literally, and it was on the magnitude of tens of times better than this blowjob, at least, maybe hundreds of times better. So anyway, she goes no more than like another minute before looking up again with the same, you know,
being confused.
Really, you know, she's like, I feel like the biggest loser on the face of the earth, something like that. I'm like, why?
So do I.
And I was like, you know, I'm sorry, I take a really long time. And so I'm like, I just got to get out of this situation. So I go out in my living room, I get some water, and I'm like really dawdling through the apartment, right. You know, like I take a really long time to turn the faucet on.
By the way, really small apartment, nothing to do in this
apartment. So it's like maybe 400 square feet.
Yeah, in New York City, just no.
So I'm like, okay, if I wait like 20 minutes, she's gonna pass out. It's like 4 in the morning. There's no way this girl can stay awake. So I go back in and lo and behold, she's asleep. So I curl up in my corner, you know, hoping not to wake her up, praying not to wake her up. And so next thing I know, it's the morning. She goes, I have to go to a brunch. I'm like, okay, like, pretending that I'm like half awake. And she like comes over and gives me a kiss, and she's like, I'll talk to you soon, right? I'm like, yeah.
Definitely be talking to you soon.
Right. So anyway, this story, I took this story and I wrote it to an ex-girlfriend of mine just as for entertainment's sake. And she wrote me back like, you know, you should do a male Sex in the City. So I'm thinking, you know, wait a minute, this could be the balance to the fact that we want to write about all this stuff, we can't use these people's names. And we could also just write about like bullshit hookup stories, like all kinds of stuff. So that was basically the beginning of Simon Cole, was just kind of a disorganized whatever, like mishmash of ideas and
it was like the default to not being able to do a book, so it just made sense because it was the internet, it was instant, we could start it right away. It was perfect, it was everything that we wanted.
But see, as time went on, we kind of like got the things that we liked more individually. I kind of want to be like a male Dear Abby, honestly. And
I don't have a huge, I don't have a giant goal sitting in the sky. It's just more about social commentary, being funny. I don't know if I really hit any of those buttons, but...
Right, so recently we've kind of gotten more structure.
We've spread apart, but we've come together.
Right. I don't know why that's funny.
Yeah, but it is.
So we started the talk show as kind of a addendum to all of that. We thought, you know, like, we can address more questions, we can have a commentary, it doesn't just have to be us talking and us thinking that our opinion is
really just
the most brilliant opinion. So we have ourselves.
Which it is, you know, from time to time, but...
Right.